He was a billionaire with no clear fortune, a man who built an empire of wealth, power, and secrets. To some, Jeffrey Epstein was a mysterious financier. To others, a predator hiding in plain sight. His rise was fast, his connections untouchable. But his downfall was darker than anyone could imagine. This is the story of Jeffrey Epstein and the questions that remain. Early life and rise. Jeffrey Edward Epstein was born in Brooklyn, New York in 1953, a math teacher who left the classroom for Wall Street. By the 1980s, Epstein had carved out a place among the wealthy elite, building a reputation as a brilliant, if secretive, financier. Yet even today, no one truly knows how Epstein made his money. Some said investments, others whispered darker rumors, but what mattered most were his connections. From politicians to princes, scientists to celebrities, Jeffrey Epstein built a web of influence unlike any other, the web of power. Behind closed doors, Epstein lived a life of luxury, private jets, mansions, a private island in the Caribbean. It was there, on Little St. James, that rumors of his darkest secrets began to grow. Parties filled with the rich and powerful, guests who preferred to remain unnamed. Epstein's Rolodex read like a who's who of global influence. And yet, despite whispers, despite lawsuits, for years Epstein seemed untouchable, protected by power itself. The allegations and the deal. The first cracks appeared in the early 2000s. Accusations emerged. Investigations began. In 2008, Epstein was charged with sex crimes involving minors. But in a shocking twist, he struck a deal. 13 months in a private wing of a county jail. Day release privileges. A punishment so light, critics called it a betrayal of justice. Many asked, how could one man escape so easily? The answer seemed to lie in his network of power, the arrest and the fall. But in 2019, the walls finally closed in. Epstein was arrested at his Manhattan mansion. The charges were severe. The media storm was global. This time, it seemed, justice had arrived. Inside his cell, Epstein awaited trial. Powerful names across the world waited nervously, because if Epstein spoke, secrets long hidden would finally come to light. The death in theories. But then, on August 10th, 2019, Jeffrey Epstein was found dead in his cell. The official cause, suicide. Yet almost immediately, the questions began. The cameras in his unit, not working. The guards, asleep. The timing, perfect for silence. Many believe Epstein's death was no coincidence. To some, it was the ultimate cover-up. To others, simply the end of a man who could not face justice. The truth remains buried. The network and the aftermath. The case of Jeffrey Epstein did not exist in isolation. Around him was a circle of figures, businessmen, recruiters, socialites, whose names appeared again and again in court filings and newsrooms across the world. The Model Scout Connection, Jean-Luc Brunel. In Paris, investigators turned their attention to modeling agent Jean-Luc Brunel. The BBC and Reuters reported that French police charged Brunel in 2020 with rape and trafficking offenses involving minors. He denied wrongdoing, but before his trial could begin, he was found dead in a Paris jail in 2022, an apparent suicide. His death closed one case, but opened more questions about how Epstein's influence stretched into Europe's fashion industry. The social circle. Court documents unsealed in the United States mentioned a range of public figures, royals, politicians, lawyers, and scientists, people photographed with Epstein or listed in flight logs. The New York Times, BBC, and Guardian made clear that most of these individuals were never charged with any crime. Many said their contact with Epstein was purely social or philanthropic. Still, the records painted a picture of a man who used access and wealth to move within the highest levels of power. The inner network. Ghislaine Maxwell and recruiters. Prosecutors later called Ghislaine Maxwell Epstein's closest associate. In 2021, a New York jury found her guilty of sex trafficking minors and conspiracy. Her conviction confirmed that Epstein did not operate alone. Court files also named several women as unindicted co-conspirators. former assistants and recruiters who helped manage his schedules and travel. None of them have been convicted, but their names remain part of the official record of the case. The investigations and unsealing of records. Years after Epstein's death, judges continued to unseal documents from civil cases connected to his estate and to Maxwell. In 2024 and 2025, hundreds of pages were released to the public. Reporters from Reuters and the BBC confirmed that the files contained flight logs, emails, and deposition transcripts, but no client list, no evidence of blackmail schemes, and no new criminal charges against third parties. The U.S. Department of Justice reviewed the case again in 2025 and concluded that there was insufficient evidence to reopen prosecutions beyond those already tried. What remained was a vast paper trail, a map of influence with many names but few answers. In the years since, Epstein's empire has crumbled. His closest associates have faced courts. His victims still seek justice. But one question lingers, unanswered. How could one man rise so high, hide so much, and fall so mysteriously? The story of Jeffrey Epstein is not just about a man. It is about power, secrecy, and a world where truth may never be fully revealed. This was the rise and fall of Jeffrey Epstein, a story of wealth, power, and shadows that still haunt us today.